Carolyn Dube here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm excited because I've got an exact plan of what I want to have happen. I know exactly what I want this to look like. I know exactly what to use. And by the way, whenever I feel this way, that means it's not going to go that way. So I turned on the video camera so you can join me for this adventure and let's see what happens. The background that I'm using here, I have got a clear plan of how I want this to turn out. Now the background, by the way, you can see how I created this in an earlier video called Ugly is a Good Thing. I'll have that link down below for you. Now if you've seen many of my videos, if you've been a follower of me for very long, you can probably guess that the plan is not going to go as planned. And even this guy right here, well, yeah, we'll come back to him a little bit later. Now, by the way, the stencil that I'm using here, that I'm using the playful little character from, this one's called The Dance of This Life, and it's one that I created for over at StencilGirl Products. So let's talk about this plan as I finish stenciling on those 3 complete people that I want there in the middle. This plan is all about capturing the feeling of being seen, of revealing yourself just a little bit. And that's why I wanted that kind of partial one there over on the side. Now, once I get the 3 full people on here, then it's going to be time to talk about what's going to go around them. There are going to be words, there's going to be some collaged papers, there's going to be a lot of busyness going on around them. And after I got the 3rd one done, I really wanted to put a 4th one there. I mean, what's one more? It's not going to hurt anything, right? The plan can shift around that. And after I got the 4th one on there, that's when I realized, I think I want a 5th one. So I started putting the 5th one on there. But this one I only kind of did a halvesies on. Now I wanted this soft and gentle kind of sort of spiritual feeling to this. And when I look at it, what I really see is, well, something out of a horror movie, like somebody's been chopped in half. And I thought, well, that's because I've got a bottom on one side and a top on the other end. So I'm just going to put the stencil back on top of this one, and I'm going to stencil the rest of this person in. That's one of the cool things about stencils, is you can go back over it like this so that if it doesn't go as planned, you can just put a little more paint on top of it. Now when things don't go as planned for me, I call them an OOPS, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. And this is definitely that. That one ended up touching the other one, and I really did not like that vibe whatsoever. So what do? Well, that's the gift of the baby wipe. Since the black paint is fresh on here, it was dry to the touch, but it wasn't like it was really solidly dry. And all the stuff underneath it is very dry. I can kind of scrub it off just using a baby wipe. Now at first, I just took off the most recent addition of paint there, so the upper half of that person, and I realized I didn't like how that looked, so I gave it a shot to take the rest of the paint off for that one. And although it didn't come 100%, what kind of math is that? 100% off, it did come off well enough and just left a little bit of a touch of black there. But this has altered the plan in my head so much, I don't feel like I can stick with the plan that I had. The idea of collaging stuff on here, doing different things, it just doesn't fit anymore. And that's okay that it's going in a different direction from the plan, because this happens to me all the time. And between you and me, I'm just thrilled it doesn't look like a set from a horror movie, because when I had the half on one side and the other half on the other, it looked like somebody had been spread into 2 places. But just thinking about horror movies got me thinking about cannibalism, and yeah, I don't know exactly why, but that's where my mind went. And I realized we can cannibalize letters from other words to create an entirely new word, because the word that I want isn't on this stencil. But it's got the letters at just the right size and look that I want. So I'm just going to find the letter that I need, and I'm going to use the Ever Fancy tool, that Post-it note right there, and a very little cosmetic sponge, and then I'm just going to stencil one letter, just one, directly onto one of those people. Now you might be wondering where I get such a tiny little sponge to do this with, so it makes it easier to just do one letter at a time. That's actually a regular size, triangular, wedge cosmetic sponge kind of thing. Except as I use them, they just get cut down over time, and it's basically the remnants or the leftovers that are perfect for something like this. Now the next letter that I need is an A, so I'm going to find that here in another word, get that positioned where I want it, and then repeat the process. When you're doing stenciling and you want to get a really crisp, clear image, couple of things you can do to make it a lot easier on yourself. One is use a thick paint. So all the stenciling that you've seen me do here today, this was all using a heavy body paint. Basically, thicker stuff doesn't run as much. And then the other thing that I do is I pounce in an up and down motion. That makes it so the paint doesn't run underneath it and you get that nice crisp line. The plan for this page when I started was nothing like this. It had a completely different vibe to it, had a different meaning in my head, and you know what? This one is way better than the one I'd originally planned. Because to me, this one about faith, this is about having faith in the process, faith in trusting your instincts about what to do, faith in trusting through the ugly layers, and most of all, having faith in the oops. Things that look like mistakes often really do turn out to be opportunities. Now, I loved this so much in my art journal, I wanted to get it out of there. I wanted to put this somewhere so I could see it anytime, and so I needed to get it up on the wall. So what I did is I just took the part of it and I cut that paper out and then mounted it onto a wood panel, so now it's ready to go up on the wall. Thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you've been enjoying this video, I'd so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I've got a new one out. And yep, you bet you can find more stuff of what I'm up to, more play, lots more resources for you over on the website at acolorfuljourney.com. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.